Hello, I'm Brigantia Blackbird of the Blackbird Grimoire. Welcome to the daily forecast for Friday, August 9th, 2024. It is the day of the lovers. It's also Freya's day, Frigga's day, Venus's day, the 19th of Leo, the 5th of Hazel, the 19th of Salmon, and the 14th of Hayaner, which translates to haymaking. Now for our astrology. The sun is in Leo, fixed fire, which represents achievement. The moon is first quarter Libra, cardinal air, which represents balance. And then at 4:45 p.m. Central Time, it goes void, of course, and it's void for the rest of the day. Mercury is retrograding in Virgo, mutable earth, which means reflection. Venus is in Virgo, mutable earth, which is about perfection. Mars is in Gemini, which is mutable air and is to be pugnacious. Jupiter is in Gemini, mutable air, which is to go questing. Saturn is retrograding in Pisces, mutable water, which means to redefine dreams. Uranus is in Taurus, fixed earth, which represents renovation. Neptune is retrograding Pisces, mutable water, which means spiritual awakenings. And Pluto is retrograding in Aquarius, fixed air, which means to examine intentions. So for the planetary retrogrades, just a few reminders. For Mercury, it's about reevaluating communication patterns. For Saturn, reclaim your authority. Neptune, reclaim faith, joy, magic, and imagination. Pluto, reclaim your ability to regenerate. And for Chiron, restore the heroic spirit. Now, for the moon phase, for the first quarter, it's about implementing ideas. And for the void moon, which is going to be a pretty significant chunk of time, just do rest, meditate, yoga. Don'ts would be spell and ritual work. They're not going to take effect, so don't bother. Any big decisions, business deals, especially with Mercury being in retrograde, definitely be more careful about all of your business and financial dealings. And if you do not have to make a big life-altering decision just now, don't. It can wait. Let us at least get past the retrograde before you start getting too in the nitty-gritty of that sort of thing. So beware of Venus in Virgo, and double beware when this occurs when Mercury is also in retrograde. For the sake of your own sanity and for the sake of your marriage or your relationship, abandon any ideas of perfection or perfectionism. Your flaws and that of your spouse, they may be a little bit more visible. So if this is your date night, don't try too hard. Just relax, let things be what they are. Don't go into any big fancy expectations. And don't go into it expecting that your energies are going to be perfectly in sync, because there's some energies coming from both Venus and from Mercury that are not making that the most likely scenario. And if you are connecting, that is absolutely fantastic. I'm happy for you. But if that is not your situation, this is not the time to fight it. Just be low key. You'll be able to cultivate more sense of closeness and passion and intimacy and being in sync with your partner at another time. This isn't the end of everything. This is just, kind of an off night. Just let things be what they are. It'll be okay. Then our tarot of the day is the Eight of Swords. Eight represents new beginnings. And then the suit of swords is the rational masculine, projective energy, the air element, the mind. And look at these key descriptions of it. Falling into a trap by oneself. Having the ability to solve the problem, but not seeing it. Feeling victimized, restricted, expecting to be rescued. Ooh, isn't it ghastly how often we get in our own way? We talked about this a little bit yesterday, too. Especially, I think it was in reference to, it was either the Celtic Triad or our magical intentions of the day. I can't quite remember which, but it was definitely, we covered this yesterday as well. It is irritating, and it's the hardest thing in the world sometimes to figuratively look in the mirror and realize, okay, what part did I play in creating this situation, and how can I untangle the knot that I tied up to begin with? Not fun, but very necessary to do. And sorry for the glitch. One of the benefits of this kind of energy coming at us, especially in the form of the air element, is that it is going to make it a little bit easier for us to think our way through this once we are able to get our own personal hangups, and once we're willing to take off our own blindfolds, it's not a coincidence that the figure in the card is actually blindfolded. And look at the swords. They are behind that figure. That's indicating that all they would have to do is turn around, take off their blindfold, and look, here's a bazillion swords to cut through any obstacle that I might need to cut through. It does require us having a change of perspective, but once done, we can utilize that air element energy, we can utilize our intellectual capacities, and we can figure out some solutions. We just have to get past that first hump. Now for today's Celtic triad. 3 things do not hurt against any: concealing ill manners, controlling passion, and destroying ill intention. So, concealing ill manners, it's called the inside voice for a reason. All of us have, plenty of thoughts in our heads that aren't necessarily fit for public consumption, particularly when it comes to our rancor. It just shouldn't be on display all of the time. We may not be feeling very polite, but if we can tamp that down, keep that on the inside, and be reasonably civil on the outside, that's probably going to be for the best. And then controlling passion. Temperance is a greatly underrated virtue. The endless cycles of emotional highs and lows, it destroys the nervous system. And for proof, I submit the kind of lunacy we see on social media. I submit, what we see of people in public who just are either on edge, or they're acting badly, or they're acting in a very odd manner. That is a consequence of not controlling passion, of not keeping feelings in their place. And, temperance, balance, calm. Maybe we need to channel the spirit of our British cousins just a little bit more. Keep calm, carry on, as, Churchill said during the war, and just trying to deal with what is and not necessarily having an emotional explosion about every little thing. And then ill intention. Replacing bad intentions with good intentions is always an improvement. Now, that being said, there's truth in the old saying that the road to hell is paved with good intentions. However, if we start off with, I'm going to make a mess and do something bad, and I'm going to twirl my villain's mustache, that's not going to create anything other than wickedness. At least if we're starting off from a good place. There's the potential that we can navigate that road successfully and we can avoid pitfalls. But we have to make that effort to not go through life with malice. Today's magical correspondences are centered on the theme of generosity. The color is pink, the plant is the primrose, the animal is the ant, and the crystal is the pink attic. Generosity is less about having a great abundance, and it's more about having a mindset of abundance. And what I mean by that is it's not about having the latest, greatest gadgets. It's not about having the biggest, boldest everything. It's not having, overflowing supplies and then being in a position to be generous. It's about having a generous spirit. It's about having the mindset of abundance, which is a mindset of, the natural order provides. We need to use our intelligence. We need to plan properly. We need to manage our resources in a sensible way. But if we're operating within that order, if we are working in harmony with those energies, we are going to have enough. And oftentimes having enough means having a surplus, even a small one. And that means that we are in a position to show some generosity to others, whether in the most literal common senses or just by having enough generosity of spirit of not holding every little thing against them, not making everything a big deal. I mean, we need generosity of spirit, almost more than what we need generosity in resources. Now for today's practice. Here's a question to contemplate. What needs to happen in order to reinvigorate the romantic spirit? I am very bored with this spirit that is tawdry and vulgar and degrading, and that seems to be what a lot of people have fallen into. With a more romantic spirit, it's about the elevation. I mean, yes, there is the union of the bodies, but there's also the union of the souls, the union of the hearts, the union of the mind. It's about the whole attraction to the entirety of the other person and it being mutually expressed, and it's about holding them in such high regard that working towards their highest good, allowing them to help you do that highest good, facing life together, that it becomes this is part of my purpose in life. This is what I want to do. I can find nothing more worthwhile than walking hand in hand with you through this life. That's what, now that the camera will let me talk, that's what I'm talking about when I discuss the romantic spirit. It is something elevated, noble, and virtuous. So, what do you think needs to happen in order for us to see more of that in the waking world? You might look into the Hermetic principle of cause and effect today. Look into the witch's pyramid, specifically the interior. Just a hint, the interior is meant to be filled with love. So start that off with your thoughts if you're going to investigate that today. Try a cozy outing with your sweetie. Again, low-key, simple, not expensive, not a drain on anyone's energy or anything like that. Just we're reconnecting, even if it's very quietly, even if it's in a very relaxed way. That can happen. But whatever you do, don't sow the seeds of discord. Not today. We have too much astrological mess to risk that sort of thing. And then last thing is to contemplate: have you balanced your life to make room for love? And this is a relevant question even to those of us who are married, because we can get so caught up in the mundane and the everyday and just, pounding the drum to make sure that everything keeps going forward, with work and cleaning the house and getting the garden in order and, making sure Great Aunt Petunia has been seen sometime this month and all the other day-to-day things that we all have to deal with, that we forget about, the more tender aspects of our relationships. And, don't take it for granted that it's always understood. Hopefully it is, but don't take that for granted, and make sure that you are reminding them that, thick and thin, through it all, even in adverse circumstances, they are still at the center of your heart. And sometimes that's all a person really needs to know. Alrighty, and for journaling, what is your favorite way to spend an August evening? I am very fond of the evenings in August, even when it is blisteringly hot. There's something about the the kind of light that's falling over everything, the colors and depths of the shadows. Just it makes me feel so relaxed. It makes the heat bearable. It's I don't know, it fills me with this creative spirit. It makes me want to write poetry of all things. It just it has that impact on me. So, what do you like at this time of year? I mean, not everyone is going to have this kind of romanticized view of, of late August evenings or anything like that I have, but what is your experience of this time of year? And gang, I think that will do it for us today. I hope you have a very wonderful Friday. I hope things go smoothly. I hope you don't find yourself in any kind of struggle, especially not with your spouse or your romantic relationship. Just I hope I'm keeping my fingers crossed for all of us. In the meantime, follow me at Blackbird's Brew on X. The Blackbird Grimoire is available on both YouTube and Rumble. And of course, if you want to chat with me further and introduce yourself to a broader community of practitioners, join the Oak and Elder Witchery. Link is in the description. But I think that will do it for today, and I will see you guys next time. Bye for now.